you're well wherever you are. Please, you know what to do. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and if you're listening on audio, please, if you're walking the wife, walking the dog, if you go and hit the like and the follow button on there, we're growing on that the audio platform. Sometimes people can't get on to watch the show. There's loads going on here, guys. You know, hit the like, hit the subscribe button. I don't know quite where to start today. There's no Sean today. Sean has taken a sabbatical. He should be back tomorrow. If I sing a song, I'm not singing any songs this morning. Not with that start. I'm not quite sure how the Spurs 5 came up, but you need some Spurs therapy. I need some Spurs therapy. Well, let's start with where should we start? Let's start with Aston Villa first. Douglas Luiz. Aston Villa looking to re-sign Douglas Luiz due to the fact that Boubacar Kamara and John McGinn have gone down injured and look like they could be out for a considerable amount of time. And Tielemans is also looking like he's not going to be fit for quite a while. So they are in trouble. Arsenal are probably rejoicing because that's more or less their whole midfield has gone. So Douglas Luiz makes sense. It's only been about, I think, 18 months since he left for Juventus. And they've obviously done the work already for Tielemans. That was a good signing. For Tammy Abrahams. I think that Tammy Abrahams was a really good signing for them. Roma to Besiktas, and then here. I think he's tailor-made for the Premier League. He's had some bad injuries, but I think you know he's going to be a good addition to Ollie Watkins. But Douglas Luiz, he didn't really do it at Forest. I'm not quite sure why. I thought he was going to be a great signing for them. I would have liked him at Spurs, to be honest with you, but he just hasn't done it. And because he's only played X amount of games, he's available to go back to Villa. He's still on Juventus's books, so I'm not sure whether it's going to be a loan with an option. But I don't know. Listen, look, he's a good player on his day. Whether or not if he can rekindle the form that he had at Aston Villa that made Juventus pay something like, I can't remember, it's like 50 million pounds, something like that. But it's an interesting one for them. He's played 318 minutes in total. And any permanent deal would only cost Villa a fraction of the 43 million. That's what I just seen there, 43 million pounds for that deal to go through. But a lot of you here obviously are looking to, let's see what Cece's got to say. Not really happy with Luiz coming in, but we need backup. He can slot right in as he knows Emery, the club and the players. Absolutely spot on, Cece. Look, you need bodies in that midfield. You've got yourself back into that position after that really strange loss at home to Everton. You can't afford to, even though you got FFP and PSR to balance, you're walking a really fine line there. So you really need to bring in reinforcements. I'm not sure if this is the only one that you can bring in, because to lose Kamara was bad enough. To lose McGinn is like doubled up, and then Tielemans on top. I think it was an ankle injury at the weekend that he sustained. So they really need to get on with that. Morning all to all of you who are in the chat. Let's see what else Cece said. Luiz, 43, and 2 young players. Yeah. It was a good deal for Villa. Let's look at Spurs, the gift that keeps on giving. Oh my God, it never stops. So, first of all, we had the news that Robertson was on. Then we had the news that Robertson was off. Then we had the news that Robertson might be on if Tsimikas, they could get Tsimikas out and Roma could get a player to replace Tsimikas. Then it looked like they were going to bid for a player from Wolves. It looked like it was going to happen, potentially. An hour later, that deal was dead. So that one looked like dead in the water. Then we heard that Liverpool are potentially looking at signing Robinson from Fulham. Why aren't Spurs trying to sign Anthony Robinson from Fulham? Why are we trying to sign Andy Robinson and have all these complications? Makes no sense to me. He's 28 years of age. Anyway, so that one then died. So now we hear today that Spurs are trying to look at getting Marco Senesi from Bournemouth. Left-footed Argentinian, 28, coming up 29. It's been really good for Bournemouth. But the trouble with this deal is we are number one in the pecking order. Senesi is of interest to Juventus, who we know don't have a lot of money at the moment. They're playing around with loans and etc., which isn't going to interest, I don't think, Bournemouth, although Senesi is interested in the Juventus move. Chelsea have Senesi as their backup to Jeremy Jacquet, who they're desperately trying to sign from Rennes to try and beat Liverpool, who are also interested in him. So Spurs are probably number 2 or number 3 in that move. So what do we do? You think we go for someone's, spectacular? Maybe not this board. We've been linked with Hugo Bueno. Hugo Bueno, the Spanish 23-year-old left back, Spanish under 21, who's been at Wolves since I think it's about under 18s. They're weighing up a £20 million bid. I think he's played 20 games this season for them, and we all know how well Wolves are doing this week. So Butler's out, James, for you who are asking in the chat. So what do you think of these two? Seriously, I mean, we're not going for Robinson of Fulham. We're leaving that to Liverpool. We're trying to get Andy Robertson if all the stars are aligned. And now we've been linked with Hugo Bueno and Senesi. If it was up to me, out of those two, Senesi would be my first choice, first and foremost, without any doubt whatsoever. What about yourselves? Guys, let me know in the chat what you think about those. Let's see. Alfie, I liked Hugo Bueno a few years ago, but not now, and especially not for Tenerife. What are we doing? We need goals. Yeah, but they seem to be fixated with this left side. Like, how about a left winger? How about an attacker? I'll come on to that in a minute. That's another fast show that's continuing. But I just don't understand it. If Robinson's dead, Andy Robinson's dead. Like, don't wait around. We're now still, the 27th. 27th. So we've got like 4 or 5 days to the transfer window closes. I could have sworn I heard Thomas Frank saying he wants to get them in early. We have, I mean, this really sums it up, Alpesh. We are a small club mentality with this board. I think there's absolute chaos behind the scenes. We had an owner that was a complete control freak, controlled every aspect of the club. And now he's been plucked out. I don't think anyone knows what to do. Half of those people have gone. New guys have come in. And it seems like it's a complete and utter shit show. I mean, we've got Fabio Paratici, who seems to have signed more players for Fiorentina than we've managed to sign for our club. I don't know what Johan Lang is doing. It's absolute joke. And I just think, I mean, Alfie, I think you're right, mate. It is absolutely shit behind the scenes. Paul O'Keefe was the most dishonest, has the most dishonest side. Something about him I can't trust. Well, he's a journalist. What can I say? Not saying any more of that. Biggie Spurs. Could you imagine the uproar if Spurs contemplated bringing Daniel back? That is never, ever, ever happening. Never happening. Let's see some other ones. Do you know what Lang is doing, Johnny? He's drowning. Look, it's an absolute farce. The club is in a complete and utter mess. When you consider how many players that we have lost in the last, excuse me, 1 second. Sorry. If you consider how many players that we have lost in this January window, we sold Johnson. We've lost Richarlison. We've lost Kulu. We've lost Bentancur. We've lost Bergvall. And what have we replaced them with? An opportunities Gallagher signing and a 19-year-old Brazilian kid. If that is the ambition that this board spoke about so loudly before the West Ham development, before the West Ham protest, why say all those things and set yourself up? The other thing I really don't understand, why would you turn around and say we are willing to break our wage structure, we're willing to go above and beyond? That's absolutely mental. You don't say that just as you're coming into a transfer window. I mean, if we were to go for a Senesi or Senesi or whoever it is, and you're the agent, what would you say? Well, hang on a minute. You're offering me 80 grand a week. No. I heard you're paying more money now. You said so. I noticed it in your program notes before the West Ham protest. We want 100 grand now. Why set yourself up? It's amateur hour. It's absolute amateur hour. It really is. I mean, we also had the amateur hour with Alejo Veliz trying to sell him on for £10 million, only to find out that they didn't read the contract. And there's a clause in the contract that says if he's paid over 50% of the games, he can't be transferred out. I mean, it's a farce. It's an absolute farce. And here we are at the midnight hour, and we're looking at Bueno and Senesi if all the other clubs don't want him. And obviously, listen, I'm not against Andy Robertson coming. I think we need some stability, and I think we need some experience and leadership, which we certainly don't have at the club right now. Let's see some of the comments, guys, in the chat. If you are there, please, whatever other club would let it go to the bare bones? It's just pure neglect. Here's a good bit of news. We love a bit of good news. Here's one. Thanks, James. Van der Ven is not at open training. Another knock, another injury, or is he wanting to go to Liverpool? Listen, I don't know what is going on. How many left backs do we have at the club? How many left centre backs do we have at the club? It's becoming an absolute farce. And the way we are going, look, I personally think that we're going to have too many. I think we've already got too many points to actually go down, because I think we can get 4 wins or 12 points before the end of the season, and 40 points is nearly always enough to stay up. But this is just an embarrassment. It really is. It'll be a light knock. That he's probably out for 6 months. You know how it is. Look, for me, this is the one here. Kate Rixon, go and get Lookman in. He still hasn't done the deal to Turkey. Go and get him. He's exactly what we need. He's got pace, power, he's physical. He scores goals and he assists. He was player of the tournament at AFCON. And what are we doing? We're sitting on our hands. Unless they come up with some worldie out of the blue that we don't know anything about, then I don't know. I mean, we also had one this morning. This will make you laugh. Joshua Zirkzee. There's rumours that Spurs are looking at Joshua Zirkzee. He was looking to go to Roma. I mean, I think he's played 45 games for Man United. He's hardly scored a goal. Now, was that the manager, Ruben Amorim, or was it the fact that Joshua Zirkzee is just shit? If he isn't good enough to start for Manchester United, I'm sorry. If he's not good enough to start for Manchester United under Amorim or Carrick, why are we looking at him? Why are we even entertaining the thought of at him? I mean, I just not sure, really. I really don't. We just seem to be a complete and utter shit show right now. And to add to it, we've got Randall Kolo Muani, who is saying that he would like to leave the club. No shit, Sherlock. I mean, that West Ham game, when he came on as a sub, and he couldn't even be asked to chase the ball. And we saw Jed Spence get to the ball before him, even though he was about 20 yards behind him, and still get to the ball and stop it going out for touch. Is an absolute joke. And then we had the situation in the last game against Burnley where Muani doesn't even come on the pitch. He comes on, Dane Scarlett comes on instead of him. What is going on at the club? This is a £90 million player, €90 million player that PSG bought that is just not interested. He has got no interest. So why is he at the club? The trouble is, you can only add 3 new players to the Champions League squad. And if we get rid of him, then we run the risk with Solanke, who's played far too many minutes for a guy that's been out for months, gets injured, and then we got no strikers. Matis Tell's not in the squad. Richarlison's injured. And the other farce about this is that Randall Kolo Muani was desperate to stay at Juventus, and Juventus strung PSG along the whole window, even though PSG did a reduction on the price for him. He had a really good Club World Cup, believe it or not. I think he got 2 goals and an assist. They couldn't come up with the funds, and they're not willing now, PSG, according to the reports, to get strung along again by Juventus. So he can want to go to Juventus all he likes, but basically they haven't got the money, and PSG aren't interested in getting into a long, drawn-out debate with them. So unless he can find someone else, and he can go, and we can bring someone else, but Kolo Muani, and I've got to be honest with you, I've got mud on my face because I always rated him at Eintracht Frankfurt, and obviously they paid €90 million for him. So he had something. He had a good time at PSG, but look at the competition he had with all the wingers that they had there. Tough gig. And Juventus were only too happy to take him, and he did well in Juventus from that January. But he is a shadow of. I think we've got an imposter, an AI, a shitty AI version of Randall Kolo Muani. Dane Scarlett's not good enough. Dom Solanke's not fit enough. Richarlison's injured. We've sold Johnson. We haven't bought a left back. We haven't replaced Son. Do I need to go on? It is a complete and utter shit show. Honestly, Kip Spurs, why can't we play some of the youngsters? Because, Kip, we're too busy selling them. I mean, Callum Oluseyi, who is the captain of our under-21s, who I always thought was a really good player, 18 years of age, is going out to Torino. Fantastic. Great. Get some experience on loan. There's only one option. There's only one problem. They got an option to buy. Why would you give him an option to buy? Send him out there, get the experience, build him up so he's ready for our team. I thought Vinay said in his program notes, our desire is to create an academy that graduates to the first team. So how are you going to do that if you're selling your 18-year-old captain? If he's so crap, why is he the captain of the under-21s? That's what I want to know. absolute shit show. I mean, listen, I'm a bit wound up today. You might have gathered. First of all, I played the wrong intro coming in, and then I have to deal with this stuff. Listen, I'm sure there'll be some more news as we go through. No, Callum Oluwesi hasn't officially gone, but the Torino hope to tie up the deal. We need to see the detail on the of the deal. I mean, for example, if he was being sold, but we had the option of a buyback at a certain price, then fine. But what were they going to pay for him? 5 million? What is 5 million going to do? How does that help us? Doesn't help us at all. Doesn't help us at all. Let's have a look at some of the other interesting ones. Mateta. Now, I'm not being funny. I mean, Mateta was twerking for a move to Italy, but Juventus, they're struggling for money. And out of the blue comes Nottingham Forest trying to make a bid. 35 million pounds. This is a player that we should be all over, especially with our 150 million war chest. I think I saw something here in the chat. Here we go. Definition of a war chest. Yeah, 150 million pound war chest. Maybe it was rupees, 150 million rupees or denaries. I'm not sure. But we haven't seen any sign of it because Brennan Johnson, we sold for 35 million. Thanks very much, Steve Parish. I feel that's payback for all this crap you gave us. 35 million. Palace fans are already asking what the hell's gone on there. All we've spent is a bit of money on the kid from Brazil. Anyway, so going back to Mateta, they bid 35 million for Mateta. There's only one problem. Marinakis hasn't worked out. Sorry, you want to go and deal with Steve Parish, the club that you screwed over for the Europa League spot, to get them thrown out the Europa League with your mate, John Textor, who is the Botafogo owner, and who was a co-director with Steve Parish at Crystal Palace. So he left Crystal Palace and then screwed up Crystal Palace for his mate Marinakis. And now you expect, oh yeah, we only want to bid 35 million. Well, I've got news for you, Marinakis. You're pissing in the wind, mate, because there's not a chance that he's going to do a deal with you if he can do a deal with someone else. In fact, I would not be shocked if Marinakis took him, Parish took Marinakis all the way down to the wire on transfer deadline day and pulled the rug, because he did the same with Mark Gahey. Mark Gahey deal to Liverpool. And Mark Gahey at that point was having an MRI scan with the Liverpool medical team when he pulled the plug on that deal. So I'm not sure if that deal is going to go through. So why don't Spurs nip in and get Mateta? I know he's 28 years of age, but we know that he can at least perform in the Premier League. He's Prem proven, although he couldn't hit a barn door before Glasner arrived. But listen, if you've got ambition, £35 million, just go and pay the money. Stop messing about. Just stop messing around. You could get Lookman and Mateta, and already we're much better up front. We're much more dangerous as a unit. But it just doesn't seem to be happening. Also, Forest are also inquiring. I mean, listen, they're spending money like it's going out of water. They're also looking at Strand Larsen. And please, guys, please don't tell me. I see a few people saying, why don't we go for Strand Larsen? Strand Larsen of last season is non-existent. And when they're looking at 45 million pounds, I think at the moment, he says the Wolves striker is target for multiple clubs this month, especially Leeds, especially with Dominic Calvert-Lewin, although, he's been fantastic this season. Remember all the clubs, all the fans who sighed a big sigh of relief when he signed for Leeds and not for Spurs or West Ham. He's turned out to be a bit of a machine. Palace inquired about Strand Larsen in December, but were put off by Wolves' asking price of 40 million. And I would be put off by that amount as well. Bit of a crazy amount. Let's see what some of you are saying. Mateta is a waste of money, just like Gallagher. Look, the problem is, Lee, that there was a plethora of strikers available in the summer, and we didn't go for any of them. We didn't. There were so many great. I mean, listen, I would have gone for Victor Osimhen, out playing in Fenerbahce, Galatasaray. Sorry, a decent player, in my opinion. But I just think that right now, if you don't get Mateta, there, who else is there? Who else is there to go for? In all honesty, I struggle to see. I'll tell you what he is though. Where are we? I'm just looking here. This is what Steve Parish is going to be should Spurs or Nottingham Forest Marinakis look to sign Mateta.
Just when you thought your squad was getting proper, that player won't leave. They call that cock blocker.
Yeah, he's going to be a cock blocker, Steve Parish. He's a cock blocker for every single thing. Whenever you do a deal with him, you better come armed and ready. I don't know where we are. I really don't know where we are. Giancarlo Ramos, I see. Let's see here. What do we got? We're a joke of a club. Listen, Real Madrid have got players we could have taken on loan. You know, take a player on loan. I don't disagree with this. Giancarlo Ramos is available. Grab him. I saw Crystal Palace were looking at signing him. I mean, where are we? What are we? We're absolute farce. Guys, a quick shout out to the Football Inc. To our sponsor, OK Jersey, you see down there, and the code FINK. If you want the best in shirt and sports leisure wear, and you're after that shirt that you may have missed in the shop, 1901 reasons why you might have missed it, get on down to OK Jersey, and for up until the 2nd of February, using the code FINC, you will get now, instead of 8%, 15% off. So go and check that out. Some great stuff. I've had lots of feedback of people using them. So that's OK Jersey, and FINC, and 15% off. So here's another player, Dusan Vlahovic. Juventus paid serious money from Fiorentina for him. He was like the hottest property in Europe. But what actually happened? He had one good season and then he's really gone off the boil. They've been trying to get rid of him, Gareth, for nearly 2 seasons now. Physically, he looks like the part for the Premier League. But why has no other Premier League club, why has no other club gone in for him? That's my question. There's a reason. There's always a reason. Let's have a look at some of the other transfer news, guys, because there's quite a bit of it. There's another player that Spurs are interested in. But again, we are not the first in the queue. And the second thing is the player is not keen to leave. He was over at AFCON, didn't have the greatest tournament, although he got to the semi-final. Omar Mamouche. Spurs are apparently inquiring after him. But Aston Villa are also looking at the player. He might be willing to come on loan. but he's not looking for a permanent deal. If you could go anywhere on loan, you're choosing Aston Villa over Spurs. It's as simple as that, unfortunately. I don't know. I don't know what more to say about the situation at our club. We are interested FC, monitoring FC. Yeah. We are thinking of a bid, but we haven't quite made one yet. News out of Barcelona. Barcelona are set to sign a new deal with Fermin Lopez, which is going to rule Chelsea out of doing any deal for Lopez, which was a bit of a shock, really, because it looked like he wasn't going to sign a deal. It was going to cost massive amounts of money, and with Barcelona having sold off everything bar the kitchen sink to meet their targets, to stop themselves going bankrupt. They've sold out, as we know, to Spotify. The stadium's been an absolute farce. I don't know if you saw the images in the week with the water pouring through, not into the main stands and soaking all the journalists and ruining all the equipment, but even into the main concourse where the fans go up and down. So it's been a shit show. So I thought there was a very good chance that they might sacrifice him for, like, you know, £100 million plus deal, so that they can utilize that money to sign some other players that they need. But no, that one looks like that one's going to be a new contract for them. What else have we got? Liverpool look to be trying to size up various players. I mentioned Anthony Robinson of Fulham going to Liverpool. Should we sign Andy Robertson? This one's really pissed me off. We all know that Robinson would be a good signing as a left back, for us. Anyway, it is what it is. They're looking at Adam Walton. The thing is here, will Arne Slot be in situ? Will Arne Slot be the manager? There's rumours out that should they not win their game and qualify in the top 8, there's rumours that he's going to lose his job. There's also rumours that Steven Gerrard will come in as interim manager until the end of the season, until Xabi Alonso comes in and takes over from him. But Alonso said he needed a sabbatical. I think anyone would be, having taken that Real Madrid job where you won 74% of your matches and yet you still get sacked because a load of prima donnas like Mbappe and Vinicius Jr. and Bellingham and the like decided they want to be in control, not let the manager be in control. So there is a good chance. I mean, they've lost 7 games already this season, Liverpool. And one would think, having lost 7 games, Liverpool, after last season, huge drop-off. Maybe it's because Heitinger left. Who knows, clutching at straws there. But Adam Walton is a player they really could do with. I mean, everyone's going to go for him, let's be honest. Man United will look towards him. And so will Liverpool and maybe some other clubs. It's either him or Anderson. But let's see what happens there. But I think that Anthony Robinson deal could be one to watch. Meanwhile, Fulham are actually doing more business. Fulham and West Ham are doing more business than Spurs. Definitely. But listen, he got sent off, Adam Walton. 2 yellow cards in quick succession the other day to go off. I think he looks a bit demoralised, but wouldn't you? I mean, Ismail Sarr went off to AFCON. When he came back, everyone was gone. It was like a ghost. It was like a ghost town. Anyway, here's an interesting one. Manchester City are closely monitoring Trent Alexander-Arnold. Listen, they only paid £10 million for him, Real Madrid. Yes, he's on huge wage for the signing on fee, but it's nothing that Manchester City can't handle. We know he's not the greatest defender, but what he is good at is whipping a ball in. And maybe that's something that Haaland would relish in the box. So I would keep your eyes on that one. And one of the stories that I mentioned to Sean the other day, right, that's just weird, right? But the story won't go away, and that is that Cole Palmer is very unsettled at Chelsea. Look, there was lots of rumours that Esteval, who Chelsea managed to beat both Real Madrid and Barcelona to their signing, would only sign for Chelsea if he was guaranteed the number 10 position or the number 10 shirt. Now, we know who owns that, Cole Palmer. And a lot of people said to me, I stuck my neck out at the beginning of this season before the ball had been kicked. And I said that I thought that Esteval was going to be the best Brazilian to ever play in the Premier League. I know it's a big shout, but I'm really convinced that this kid is the real deal. We saw another glimpse of it on the weekend there with that ball he picked up in his own half, held off Tarek Mitchell, going away from goal from right to left and put the ball away. Beautiful. Anyway, he's been getting lots of minutes and getting more and more game time. Obviously, Cole Palmer being injured, but there's rumours now that he's homesick and wants to go back to Manchester. So I can't see him going back. Could he really go back to Manchester United, having been at City? That one I'll have to leave to a Man United fan or a Man City fan. I mean, would they take him back? Would City take him back? But what would Chelsea ask for him? I mean, they sold him for an incredible, I think, what was it, 35, 40 million pound? I can't remember off the top of my head. But Chelsea, or otherwise known as eBay Trading FC, would probably demand in the region of 85 million pound. Maybe more. I don't know. That would be an interesting one to watch. I don't know if you've also seen that Cole Palmer has also trademarked his celebration, which I believe wasn't actually his celebration. It was, in fact, Morgan Rogers. So I don't know how Morgan Rogers and Cole Palmer get on with that one, but he's registered the trademark. It's sort of an outline of a stick man. He looks like he did that in his spare time, or his mum did it. All it is a stick man. Imagine a stick man with his arms folded like that. That's his logo. Good luck to him. But it's been dismissed by so many people. Yet I keep seeing the story come back over and over and over again. And I'm not going to dismiss it because I think there's some credibility in it. And I don't think Chelsea would be adverse to selling him because they've got all these other kids that are coming through. Wonder kid from Ecuador, this another wonder kid coming from Brazil. Actually, talking of wonder kids, Real Madrid got rid of Endrick, who was meant to be the next big thing, even better than Esteval. The next Neymar, or the next whoever you want to put your name on. And he was massively hyped. Anyway, he came to Real Madrid, and under Alonso, he just was not getting any minutes. And so he's gone to Lyon on loan. And they're already regretting it. I think in his second game, he scored a hat-trick for Lyon. Absolutely smashed them up. So, you know, sometimes a manager can be the difference between a player being this level and this level. I mean, look at Kobe Mainoo at Man United. Amorim was having none of it, was giving him no minutes. He wanted out the club. Napoli tried to sign him. Nothing was going. And now look at him. 2 games in under Michael Carrick, he looks rejuvenated, as do all the other players in that team. So, you know, when you've got a young player or a bit of talent, you've got to be careful if you let them go, which is why I was going before about Callum Oluseyi, whether or not you don't let him go, you send him out on loan, see how he performs, and he performs well, then the price is going up, isn't it? Why would you set a price before he's even gone out there? Anyway, that's one for those. what else have we got here? Oh no, so having been talking about Kobe Mainu going after 2 games of him playing well, they're now talking about them trying to sign him, time down to sign a new contract. If I was you, Kobe, I would say no, it's okay. I'll take my time. Okay, I'll see what's happened. I'll see what manager comes in. If Michael Carrick's here next season, I'll sign. But if you bring in another numpty who doesn't want to play me, then maybe I won't sign. I won't sign. Again, they've been linked with a move for Adam Walton, which is interesting, but I can't see that one happening. West Ham have stated that they still have a long-term interest in Harry Maguire. I can't see though. Sam, he's 100% not going to Spurs. Are you talking about Xerxes? Or are you talking about Xerxes or are you talking about Kobe Mainu? Let me know in the chat. Let me know. I'm not sure who you're talking about. Sam, obviously Man United fan. Always welcome. Everyone's welcome here. If you're here for the first time, guys, please hit the like button and hit the subscribe button. I'm just trying to see whether Spurs looking at Xerxes. Yeah, what are we doing? 45 games. 45 games and hardly a goal. Yeah, I mean this is how bad Xerxes is. When Sam says you can buy him, please do. Especially when he normally turns around and says, "Are you joking?" As if any of these players would want to go to your club. They definitely wouldn't want to. Let's do a quick super chat. Dean Law, as always. Choo, Dean. Thanks very much for the super chat, buddy. Been a fantastic supporter of this channel always, and thanks, mate. Thanks as always. Now you're going somewhere, right? Saz, might as well have Johnson back. Backdoor Johnson. The only trouble is he can't beat his man, and in this system, he's not going to go anywhere. What have we got here? Let's have a look at some of the chat. Only goal he scored was against Palace. Laughing my ass off. Right, let's have a look at some of the other news. Let's see here. See what else is happening. Palmer is back in training. That's one bit of news, but their defensive duo, Tosin Adebayo and Philip Jorgensen, are both out. I'm just trying to look at the transfer window and tell me, Sam, what do you think about Bruno Fernandes finally going this summer to Saudi? Or do you think that having seen what's going on at Man United under Carrick, if he gets the job full time, that he would maybe want to stay instead of going to Saudi? I think maybe it's a year too early for Fernandes to go to Saudi. I mean, I think he can have one more window and then go. Let me know what you think, Sam. It was a good win. We were cheering you on. The other day. Let's have a look. Lewis Dunk is a target for Nottingham Forest boss Sean Dyche, despite signing a new deal with Brighton only last month. I mean, he's a proper Sean Dyche player, don't you think? What do you think, guys? Carrick will be the same as Amarin. He will go on 10-game losing streak. Listen, there's a guy in Manchester right now who is praying, whose hair is out here probably by now. He probably can't get through the turnstiles at Old Trafford. They've got 2 wins. He needs another 3 wins so he can cut his hair. He needs it. Give him a new contract. Yeah. Are you talking about, Sam, are you talking about a new contract to Carrick, or are you talking about Kobe Mainu? Because Kobe if I was Kobe, I would wait. I would definitely wait. Let's see what other news you got here. See, guys. Palace fans are upset. They're back to reset. Said, listen, let me tell you something. Bruno. Okay. Yeah. I think you're right, Sam. I think they'd be mad to get rid of him now. He looks like he looks a happier player. I know it's only 2 games, but he looks a much happier player. It's good to see that Manchester United are just coming into their game with a fully fit squad, just as we go to play at Old Trafford. That's how it is at Spurs. That's how it is. Soon as getting a new contract, media and owners will eat Carrick up alive right away. All circus shit show. Listen, look, he's everyone's media darling right now, Michael Carrick. But we know in this game that as soon as he has a hiccup, it will go wrong. I think Roy Keane, when asked should he get the job after the first win, he turned around and he says, behave yourself, because if you can't, one swallow doesn't make a summer, neither does 2. One thing's for sure, Manchester United played with some freedom, and I got to be honest with you, they hardly touched the ball in Arsenal's box, but they broke with a tradition that the XG merchants and the data merchants, who are absolutely killing football at the moment with this, don't shoot outside the box because the probability of scoring and then losing possession is too great, right? Working in margins, forget that, right? Look at Manchester United. Look at the goals that they scored, those 2 goals, right? Shooting, opportunism from outside the box. Dorgu's goal was superb, and Matheus Cunha's was, I don't know, maybe even better. I don't know. The bend round the defender. And, we see Slobodsai with a goal from outside the box. And Buendia, maybe, just maybe, we're starting to turn away from that robotic bullshit 10 in a box set piece football that we've had to watch this season. It's turgid. I don't want to see it. I mean, Arsenal, top of the table, playing set piece FC, corner FC, right? Great for them. They're at the top of the league. Ask an Arsenal fan what it's like watching their football. I mean, Spurs football's bad enough, but I mean, they're playing shit football and they're top of the league. I mean, how bad is the league this season? It really is. But the truth is, however bad our league is, when we go into Europe, they can't cope with us. So I'm not sure what that says about European football right now. But I think the whole thing is pretty much, let's see what, hang on. Johnny, please address the real issue here we are facing. Fans, please learn how to read English language. More divided fan base, more dividends for the owners. Time to wake up. Mate, we're awake. I'm awake. I think most of the fan base is awake. Unless you missed the game at Burnley. What I would say, though, is that most of the fans are all putting it on Thomas Frank and not on the board. Do you know that Spurs have lost since that Chelsea game at home against under Ange Postecoglou when we were unbeaten? Since that game, we have lost 43 league games. 2 years, November 2023 to now, we have lost 43 games. It's outrageous. This shit has been going on far, far longer than you would think. And if you go back, I got a stat here since to Pochettino. Sorry, not Pochettino. Conte's rant. I'll give you a stat. 1 second. If you wait for me 1 second, there is a stat that I shall give you. It's quite unbelievable. Since Conte's rant, that's 3 years, right? We have got less points than Brentford, Palace, Fulham, Brighton, and Bournemouth. So for 3 years, we have regressed to be worse than all of those clubs. this isn't just on Thomas Frank. I'm not going to sit here and say Thomas Frank has been great, but this is a bigger issue than just Thomas Frank. It really is, and people need to wake up to that fact. And it's the board, it's the lack of investment. We still haven't replaced. Look, we didn't replace. We haven't replaced Bale. We haven't replaced Ericsson. We haven't replaced Modric. We haven't replaced Kane. We haven't replaced Son. And look where we are now. Tell me one player that gets you up off of your seat as a Spurs fan. You know, I look at the Man United team and I look at Mbeumo, you know, the pace he's got, the wingers. They've got exciting players. You look at a lot of players, even Arsenal, even though they're playing turgid football now, you look at Noni Madueke, right? Beats his man, takes his player on. Eze, maybe he's made a mistake going there because he'd be starting for us every single week. But we'll have to wait and see. Let's see some of your... Why do you go to the home games when you don't like the board? Can't you and others YouTubers? Because just to let you know, that people aren't turning up for your information. I go home and away, and I didn't go to Burnley, and I'm not going to Eintracht Frankfurt tomorrow because of the situation. And there's lots and lots of empty seats. I've seen more empty seats around me than I've ever seen. Okay, but you've got to remember that people have paid in advance fortunes for these seats, and they're putting them on the exchange and no one's interested in buying them. Anyway, that's my rant on them. Arsenal promote a rigid system-based robotic approach that undermines an artistic value and individuality. Spurs likewise, but we're not fighting at the top, eh? Arsenal set a bad precedent. I think you're absolutely right. Absolutely top post, alter ego, Russian roulette. They are setting that precedent, and I'm hoping that Pep Guardiola finds his mojo and brings us back the football that we all love, because I'm not seeing it right now. I'm not seeing it at all. Guys, you're in the chat. If you're here for the first time, please hit the subscribe button, guys. We're trying to get to 6,000 subscribers. Well, we both are, but Sean's not with me today. There's normally two of us here at this show, but Sean couldn't make it today. Rudolph Mayers, Johnny, yes, this crap has been going on for a long time. There's no denying facts, but Frank is the current manager accountable for results, and he said he was happy with the squad, so resign or be sacked. Yeah, well, no one's going to be resigned when they've got that much money. Johnny, you're probably too young to remember the New Seekers. Oh no, I'm not. But we are the Georgie girl of football. Always window shopping, but never stopping to buy. Since 2018-19, we have failed to invest properly. Listen, guys, I've always done the analogy that we are, or not the tramp, but we're the guy that's walking around and he's in the West End and he's got his nose pressed to the window at Harrods, looking at all the beautiful merchandise. But the reality is that we are the club, or we are the people who shop in the middle aisle at Lidl. We have aspirations. We have aspirations, but they're not founded in reality, because we have, I mean, look at us now. We are the top of the form league. Sorry, the finance league. The Deltouche, or whatever, the accountants. But what are we doing? It's same shit, different channel. I mean, it's just the wolf in sheep's clothing. I haven't seen anything. Look, I wanted to be proved wrong that we were going to see owners that invested in the squad. But I haven't seen it, and neither has anyone else. But the truth is that there is no appetite for an actual demonstration. Manchester United are meant to have, I don't know if Sam's going to know about this one, but there's meant to be a demonstration by 6,000 Manchester United fans against Fulham, and they want Ratcliffe out. 6,000 for the West Ham demonstration. I think if there was 200 people there, that would be an exaggeration, probably. Yet when we lost the game, they weren't shouting ENIC out; they were shouting Frank out. So whilst there's talk of it in these chats, the reality is the average fan is doing absolutely nothing about it. That's the truth of the matter. Anyway, let's see what we got. Some more chat here. Moreover, they set the stadium on fire every week. Great place. So incredibly entertaining. Gurav, I'm not sure which stadium you're talking about, but we go to Poundland. Yep. Let's see what Gurav was talking about here, because I'm not quite sure. We're shopping at charity shops. Yep, that's not far off of it. Guys, let me know in the chat if you think that if Frank is going to go, this is the other thing. If Frank is going to go, who is going to be the replacement? Okay. Not fly by night, fanciful replacement stories and bullshit. I want tangible replacement, a tangible replacement. Kane and Sonny. Yeah. Listen, I hear Robbie Keane. He's not leaving a full-time job. Harry Redknapp. He's 80 odd years of age. Come on, guys, right? Tim Sherwood. When was the last time he managed the football team? He hasn't done anything. He's out of sync. Tim Sherwood, I hear you say, Tim, yeah. The problem is, guys, there's no one. And you think Alonso, we should go for Alonso. Alonso's not coming to Spurs. I hear Terzic. He obviously doesn't want to come to Spurs. The one I would think that is a possibility is go all out and buy Oliver Glasner. He wants out. Maybe he's a manager that would come. But for me, the only thing that we can do is tough this out, in my opinion, till the summer, when you got the likes of Tommy Tuchel, Nagelsmann, Pochettino, and the like, right? Even Ancelotti could be out of a job come the summer if he decides to leave Brazil. There's a whole host of managers. The truth is, do any of them want to come? And what I would be doing right here, right now, just like the Liverpool board are currently talking to Xabi Alonso's representatives, even though Arne Slot is in situ, I would be right now, the board should be talking to Pochettino, Nagelsmann, and Tommy Tuchel and asking them, would you be interested in coming to Spurs? Would you come in the summer after the World Cup's finished? If they are, and if they are interested, you tie them down, you do a deal right here, right now, and then you start to get them to look and identify the players that they want. Because with one of those three managers in situ, we have got far higher chance of getting a player in of a higher caliber than we have now, right? You're trying to sign a top player. Thomas who? Nah, never heard of him. Everyone's heard of Pochettino, Nagelsmann, and Tommy Tuchel, right? And Ancelotti. So, yeah, then you can start to make plans, right? Right now, we don't have a plan. There's no plan B, because if there was a plan B, a plan of succession like Brighton and Brentford have, they never let anyone go unless there's a plan of succession. We wouldn't be in this shit show right now. We got our backs against the wall and we're going nowhere right now. Klopp is the man. Yeah, well, he's at Red Bull with a really good job, and he is twerking for Arbeloa's job. Arbeloa, who's taken over from Alonso at Real Madrid, been there 9 years, come through from the under-21, given the job. But I think Jurgen Klopp is really twerking for that Real Madrid job. Watch this space. Let's have a look here, see some of the comments. This seems like a convenient excuse from the board not to spend. Converse with Posh about plans beyond the World Cup. Act, don't react. 100%, mate. 100%. That's exactly what I feel. Johnny, why are we looking at Robertson for a 2 year? Well, Dafarsha, you obviously missed the start of the show, but I actually said the very same thing. We should be looking at Anthony Robinson, who's 28, instead of Andy Robertson, who's 31, coming up 32 in March. I totally agree. Yeah, Nagelsmann all day long. Look, we all know, like, if it's Nagelsmann, if you wanted Nagelsmann or you wanted Poch or you wanted Tommy Tuchel or you wanted Ancelotti, if you didn't get your first choice, but you got one of those four, you're going to be happy. You're not going to be complaining. You're not going to have to Google the manager. You're going to know you're getting a quality manager. From before. Rangnick, even Rangnick. I mean, why aren't we bringing Rangnick in as our director of football? That's another thing we could be doing. We could be getting Rangnick in. We should be getting Paul Mitchell in, right? Our previous director of football, and get rid of Johan. I'm sinking, I'm drowning Lang. It's pathetic. I mean, I was always a lot of people talking about Emery, but Emery's not coming to Spurs. He's building a dynasty there. He wants to build at Aston Villa. They've also got history. Remember, champions of Europe, European champions twice. So, they've got heritage. What's this? Before we jump on the show? What's this? Before we jump on the Poch train, let's see. John, I hear what you're saying. But that is not a very good United States team. He's not Jesus, right? He can't turn water into wine, mate. Whereas a lot of people are saying that Thomas Frank turns wine into water or piss. It doesn't matter. They will not be backed by the others. Well, Alpesh, this is my point. They've talked the game about backing us. So go ahead and back us, right? Otherwise, zip it and move on. Maybe the pressure will get so much for the board that they decide that it's too much, and they do decide to sell up come the summer. I know a lot of people will be very happy, but let's see what happens. Guys, listen, thanks very much for the support today. I think I'm going to end it there. There's been over 500 people in here today. Thanks very much for the support. We've been going just about around an hour. Guys, please hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button as we drive to 6,000 subscribers. And if you're listening on audio, please hit the follow. And please do us a favor and hit a cheeky review. Okay? Thanks very much, guys. And as always, it's goodbye from me. And it would be goodbye from him if he was there. And just a quick thank you to our sponsor, OK Jersey. Check them out and enter the code FINC. And you will now get, add 15. You'll get 15% discount to the 2nd of February, not 8%. Guys, thanks very much. And God bless. See you tomorrow.